我要100万，没有100万是不可能。
我这700万，女方是1分我都不可能给的，这就是我的态度。他是现在经常到我那新家去闹。
你们两人的关系是？
我们是已经离婚了6年多了。
我们当初离婚，但是没离家，一直在一起。
You must give me this 1 million yuan youth compensation. Ms. He shouted at her ex-husband Mr. Xiong, but Mr. Xiong's response was only 3 cold words. You don't deserve it. When Mr. Xiong's business went bankrupt back then, Ms. He filed for divorce without hesitation. Now Mr. Xiong won the business lawsuit and received 7 million in compensation, but she shamelessly begged to remarry him, and after being rejected, she demanded a huge amount of money. This sharp contrast before and after made Mr. Xiong completely heartbroken. Ms. He said, feeling wronged, that she had once started from nothing with Mr. Xiong. Back then, Mr. Xiong's family did not support the business, and it was her father who contributed money and effort. The two of them suffered a lot before Mr. Xiong finally became the owner of a mining business. Later, the two divorced over a small conflict, but for the sake of the child, they divorced without separating homes, and they never publicly announced the divorce. When her mother-in-law was sick, she ran around taking care of her. When her mother-in-law passed away, she even attended the funeral as a daughter-in-law. Now Mr. Xiong received the business compensation money, but secretly bought a car and a house behind her back, completely ignoring their past relationship, so she believed it was only natural for her to demand 1 million yuan. But Mr. Xiong's version was completely different. He said directly that the 7 million compensation was obtained after he fought alone for 3 years after the divorce, and it had nothing to do with Ms. He. Back then, Ms. He's family did not believe he could win the lawsuit at all, and after the divorce, they never cared about it. Now that they heard the news, she actually brought her family members to his new home to make a scene. He was forced to fight back, but Ms. He called the police and got him detained for 3 days. After he came out, he wanted to go to her home to communicate, but Ms. He's father even threatened that if he did not give money, he would hang himself at the new home. Mr. Xiong helplessly offered to give 100,000 yuan as compensation, but Ms. He refused, and threatened that if she did not get 2 million, nobody would have a peaceful life.
这是沉迷于赌博，我知道我错了。
我说了，你再赌注，我们真要离婚了。而且你为什么不收手？
你为何还坚持了6年呢？
是因为协议上他能在家里有租住权，我赶不走他，我这是无奈。完了以后，现在他还欠外面50-60万，
还有几十万赌债是吗？
是有。
Mr. Xiong also revealed that the divorce back then was not caused by a small conflict at all, but because after his bankruptcy, Ms. He became addicted to gambling, took the family's money to play mahjong, and completely ignored the family. In order to make her quit this bad habit, the two signed an agreement. If she gambled again, they would divorce, and Ms. He would leave with nothing. But Ms. He refused to repent, so he could only divorce her, and he even deliberately left room for reconciliation. If Ms. He did not gamble within half a year, he would agree to remarry her. Unexpectedly, after the divorce, Ms. He gambled even more heavily, and even owed loan sharks money. Out of old feelings, Mr. Xiong still helped her repay 100,000 yuan in loans when he himself was in financial difficulty, but she still did not restrain herself. During the time when they were divorced but still living together, she continued gambling, which had a bad influence on the child. Now that she learned Mr. Xiong had received 7 million in compensation, Ms. He directly said that she had 600,000 yuan in gambling debt, asked Mr. Xiong to pay off the debt for her, and promised that she would never gamble again. Mr. Xiong said that Ms. He had rather leave with nothing than give up gambling before, so now he absolutely could not help her repay gambling debts again. Mr. Xiong said firmly that as he was getting older, this money had to be left for the child, and he would never use it to fill Ms. He's gambling hole. But Ms. He still refused to give up, claiming that she had truly changed, and as long as she got 2 million yuan to pay off her gambling debts, she would stop bothering him. But in Mr. Xiong's eyes, such a promise had long lost all credibility. In the end, Mr. Xiong still made it clear that he would never remarry her, and he would not take out any compensation money to help Ms. He repay her gambling debts. The mediation between the two sides ultimately ended unhappily.
前妻在春节之前一直在给我发信息。
My ex-wife kept sending me messages before the Spring Festival, wanting me to take the children to visit her. I understood what she meant. She wanted to ease the relationship. But I always kept my replies very cold. Although I am still single now, from my point of view, I do not expect to remarry her, and I do not expect her to become a good mother. Her repeated emotional changes happened 3 times after our divorce. In 2019, the second year after we had just divorced, she regretted it for the first time. Then she came to the place where I lived, crying and making a scene, wanting me to remarry her. I deliberately refused to see her, and then she picked up stones and smashed the door. In the end, the police came and persuaded her to leave. In September of 2023, when my house had just been handed over, I wanted her to come back and continue being a mother to the children. She lived there for 3 months. Because she had to get up early to take the children to school, she started getting white hair and losing hair, and then she regretted coming back and moved out again. By October of 2024, less than a year after she moved out, she regretted it again, came to me again to ask for my forgiveness, and wanted to move back in. After I refused, she did not contact me again for more than a year. Then in the few days before the new year, she started contacting me again. Emotional stability is not only important for men, it is also very important for women. And everyone knows that saying, marrying the wrong person can ruin one life, but marrying the wrong woman can ruin 3 generations. If a woman is emotionally unstable, 3 generations of the family will be affected by her. My ex-wife started falling into debt from the second year after our divorce. I understand that these years must have been hard for her too. The reason why her emotions kept going back and forth must be that she encountered something outside that put her in a difficult situation. In order to avoid debt collection calls and debt collection text messages from the bank, she even canceled her own phone number and WeChat account. She is now blacklisted, and she uses her father's bank card for all her spending. She never told me exactly how much money she owed, but I estimate it must be at least 300,000 or 400,000 yuan. I am not a heartless and ungrateful person. When we divorced, I was the one who voluntarily gave her the house, I was the one who voluntarily took on the debt, and I was the one who voluntarily took the children. In the years after the divorce, I also lent her 50,000 yuan one after another, but she only paid me back 20,000 yuan, and she still owes me 30,000 yuan now. I did not expect her level of spending to be so high. As the older generation would say, she really is not a woman who knows how to live a proper family life. I wanted my children to have a complete family, so that is why I let her come back in 2023. But which pair of parents does not suffer hardships when raising children? Other parents can have white hair and lose hair, but only she cannot. Starting from 2023, I completely saw this woman clearly, and I no longer had any illusions about her, nor was I still obsessed with my idea of an original complete family. It is not that I never gave her a chance, but in her eyes this chance was very insignificant. Even her own 2 children were not as important as herself in her eyes.
Some people have calculated that after women get divorced, 80% of them regret it deeply. Believe it or not, now you may think your husband is scrap iron, but the next moment you may realize he is actually gold. You think divorce can set you free, but the truth will tear it open for you in a bloody way. Truth number 1. You dislike your husband for earning too little and not being romantic, but after you get divorced, you will know. When your child has a fever in the middle of the night, and you have to carry the child to the hospital by yourself, the way you are exhausted like a dog is 10 times more terrifying than pots, bowls, and housework. Then look at those best friends who advised you to divorce. They turn around and spend the holidays in their husband's arms, while you're the only one staring blankly at the cold kitchen and empty stove. Truth number 2. Remarriage is simply a hell-level challenge. The second marriage market is full of mess and trouble. Rich men guard against you like they are guarding against a thief, and you look down on poor men. In the end, you find a divorced man with children, and as a stepmother, you work hard every day, but people still scold you for treating the children badly. As for the ex-wife, she may come back at any time, and during the new year, people may tear each other apart over red envelopes. This kind of life is even more bitter than bitter herbal soup. The most heartbreaking thing is the timing. Do you still remember how ruthless you were when you forced your ex-husband to sign the agreement back then? But when you lower yourself and beg to get back together, his new woman may already be pregnant with her second child. When you disliked him for being useless, you acted so carefree. And even when the children cried until their hearts broke, you still did not look back. Now that you are down and out and turned back, you cannot even make the doorbell ring. Not to mention that the ordinary life you once looked down on was actually the golden period of your life. Do you understand now? The essence of marriage is a training ground of firewood, rice, oil, salt, and daily life. If you change to another man, you still have to clean the range hood and wash smelly socks. Those divorced women who show off happiness online are either acting for you to see or crying until their pillows are soaked. Impulsiveness and vanity cannot feed children, and they cannot warm the bed either. To truly understand life is to be able to cook plain porridge into the taste of honey. The most expensive medicine in the world is the medicine of regret, and you cannot buy it even if you have money. Marriage is not a fairy tale, and it is not about changing to another prince, but about cherishing the person in front of you. Remember, the warmth in ordinary daily life is the most precious starlight in the human world.